Hey YouTube, I'm here with my little Harbor Freight trailer. Just showing you a few modifications I've done to it over the years. Let me go walk over here real quick and kind of start the story off. I don't think I've told you guys. Try to make this video as quick as possible. But the original axle, which is right here, and you can see the bearing and hub and everything's still on this side. The other side, the bearing is welded on because that bearing failed and destroyed that side. Probably carrying something a little too heavy for the trailer anyways, but that, and I hadn't greased the axle. I bought it used, and he told me he had, but they hadn't been, so ended up having to buy, I just bought a new axle instead of putting a new piece on that side. I bought a heavier duty axle. The last one was about 1,000-pound axle max. Like, that was way maxed out. Like, it was this, as you can see, the really small tires. These are even bigger than what Harbor Freight sells these trailers with. This is about a 2,000-pound axle, which is just great for me. I put snowmobiles on this sometimes, you know, four-wheelers, stuff like that. Snowmobiles can be rather heavy. So, as you can see, has a totally different spring setup, much better spring setup. I had to make, sorry for the shaky camera, I had to make shackles there. As you can see, I still need to adjust them, push them out a little bit. I think I need to get new bushings for the front and back too, especially the front, because they were cut off with a torch. But I just welded a piece of flat stock here, and I still need to paint it. Welded it up inside as best I could, and then welded really strong all the way around. And then took some really thick square tubing, some box channel tubing, welded along here. This is where the wheels used to be attached, so you could fold it up and then wheel it in. And I just used it to my advantage and welded that there and there, all along here, just, you know, reinforced it. And then on the inside, I've welded it all along the inside as well, just to make sure those aren't going anywhere. Sorry about that, tubers. I actually just had a FedEx lady ask me about my small engine repair. She just barely left, actually. Hi, Bosley. This is Bosley, if I haven't introduced him to the tubers yet. This is Bosley, my little Ewok. If you look at his face just right, it really looks like an Ewok. Huh. He's a good dog, though. He kind of goes everywhere with me, and he just hangs out. Sits in the bed of the truck or whatever I'm doing, and while I'm fixing, and yeah. Anyways, it's getting off subject, but yeah, it's a much better axle on this thing. The spring setup, instead of it being a slide in the front and you know, a circle in the back, it's a circle on both sides, and it rides a lot nicer. You put weight on it, and it doesn't bounce. And when you have no weight on it, it doesn't bounce. Like, that's one thing I had a problem with when I first had this trailer, is when you'd hit a bump, the whole thing would just bounce without any weight on it. But I've repacked the bearings in this side. The other side I need to be packing the bearings probably today. I put 2 sets of wires on them. I'm going to show you real quick how I've done the wiring on this, because I've gone through like 2 sets of lights and probably 3 sets of wires, because you can't get, I haven't been able to get the wires to set right in there without, you know, them being pinched or cut, or, you know, going, you know, off-road with the trailer, something kicking up and catching it and pulling it. You know what, I'm not going to take everything off the trailer. I'll just go on my creeper. Alright, so as you can see from the front, the wires run in this centerpiece. The new ones have just like an arm this way and this way, but you can do the same thing with this. But I just ran it in the center one, ran the wires up and over. This one goes to the marker lights on that side. I just spliced into it there. These guys run over. The other one goes to the other marker light on that side, and then they run down to here. This is a lot of extra wiring, but I've put a protector piece around it. Just a piece of used. I actually think it came off a snowmobile if I remember right. But this protects it from pinching and keeps it straight away from this hinge here. And then both left and right run down the one side, and then it stops here, goes to the left side, and then the right side goes across and goes to the right side. Now I don't run the negative or the ground through the body of the trailer. I've run a single wire from the very front all the way back. I need to finalize it a little bit better, but it goes right here. That's the the ground here, and then it runs along with this and it goes to there. And the reason for that is you don't get any intermittent lights when you do that. It's a for sure ground. You know, even just going to that one side probably would be okay, or just enough, but I ran it to both sides. And that ground going all the way back here is enough for the marker lights up front. Yeah, this is a light kit that I got also from Harbor Freight, but this is probably like a 90s Harbor Freight trailer. It was actually made in USA. I can't remember what company made it, but I can't remember. Valley trailers, or I don't know, something like that. But yeah, it can still fold up. I'll fold it real quick for you guys. Like I said, I'm trying to keep this video short, which is probably going to be like 10 minutes long. I'm just trying. Also, I'm going to show you. I'm finally putting the fenders back on it now, because in my area you have to have fenders on your trailer. See, it still folds. It's going to fold it there because there's stuff in the way, which is fine. But as you can see, it still folds up. I can't wheel it into my garage, which I never had it that way because those are bent to heck when I got it, which I really don't care about because I just fold it up and pull it into the areas I need it. As you can see, there's that trailer wiring again. Also in my area, I don't have to have a license plate for this because it doesn't weigh. You know, it's not a certain size and it doesn't weigh enough to really have it, but this axle is a much better axle than what really any of the Harbor Freight trailers come with. I ended up buying just the one side to re-weld it and everything. Would have been about $45, and I bought this axle for $40 with tires and spare. And as you can see, another thing I've done, and I strongly suggest this for everyone, I have welded up the trailer. I've welded it on every corner, everywhere I can weld, everywhere that it's come together. You know, I was careful not to weld it to the point where it wouldn't fold anymore. So I like that feature a lot because I can fold it and just put it away, you know, and make it half the size. But I've welded it, you know, of course there. But I've welded it all along here, on the top, all the way down, around. In fact, actually, me and my friend welded it. I mean, we've welded back inside on this, back inside here, we've welded there, and back on here where it actually connects, as you can see there. But we've welded all that up, and then with the fenders, this is the one I've changed so far. I've had to bend that out a little bit and bend that mount out a lot just to get it to cover the wider axle. It is a wider axle, which I'm okay with as well. But this is modified next to the non-modified. That's how much it's been bent out. So I just need to bend that one out now. But I just thought I'd show you guys what I've done with it. I also need to change the wiring. The plug from the Harbor Freight harness, this plug, never had any problem with them except for this one harness. and I don't know why I have such a problem with it, but so be it. Everything else is original to the trailer. The decking is still original from the first time the deck was ever put on it. So I'll be redoing that next. Probably getting some marine plywood and then sealing it up, painting it, and putting plastic underneath it, and it'll outlast the trailer. But yeah, I just thought I'd show you guys what I've done. Another thing, I gotta be getting new tires soon. It's pretty bad. Well, I hope you enjoyed. You know, give me thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. I would say give me 5 stars, or give me, you know, some stars. But we don't do that anymore. It's a long time ago, if you guys remember doing that. I'm an old YouTuber. I've been here for a long time. But hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions about anything trailer related, engine related, anything, just ask. I'll make a video for you. Have a good one on YouTube. Bye.